Hey, what's up, everybody? All right, so I was planning on doing this video like a few days ago, maybe like 2 days ago. And then for some reason, like, I got so tired and I was like just kind of restless and just like laying around for like 2 days. And then just today, I just got a really good night's sleep. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to do the video that I was thinking about. All right, so basically, I'm not just a video gamer or like a RPG fanatic, but probably one of the biggest things that people know about me is that I'm a huge Survivor fan, which I know is like kind of like random, but for some reason I've always been really into the show ever since I was younger. I first saw it when I was like 13, and I had just gone into high school and like no one wanted to be friends with me, so it was like the one thing I was looking forward to watching when I was at home at night, like just to take a break from homework, or when I was finally done with homework, I was like, oh, Survivor's on. But the funny thing is, like, I don't really remember watching it, but I know I did because, like, obviously I had seen it. But all right, so here we go. So I was kind of thinking, like, all right, John, so you're gonna do a video on Survivor. What is the first thing, or what's the one thing that you want to tell people about? So basically, is like I was kind of thinking, if you've always wanted to watch Survivor, but you don't really know what, or like you kind of just want to get in the conversation, like what are the biggest topics of the show and stuff, or like if you've seen a little bit of it but you don't really know like what's up, or you kind of don't feel like you're in the same on the same level as like fans that have been watching since the beginning. I just came up with like two things that is probably on like the top, like it's probably like on top of the list of the things that you should probably be thinking about when you go into the show. All right, so the first thing here, I'll just show the DVDs. I'll just say what it is. So the first two things that I thought of is basically Sandra and Survivor China. So here are Sandra's two seasons that she was in. I'm not gonna spoil anything. And here's Survivor 15. All right, so and people are like, so which one's like top? First top thing I'll mention is probably Sandra is probably the contestant that people know the most or have heard of the most. And I put Survivor 15 China in there just because, like, when Survivor was still early in its kind of like career, or when it was still like early into the show, and it was like not the height of its popularity, but people wanted to see if it would have like longevity, or if it would like gain steam over the years. People were kind of like, all right, maybe around Survivor Cook Islands, when Survivor did like the race twist and put everybody in like different tribes according to ethnicity. People were like, all right, so Survivor's kind of running out of ideas here. But when Survivor China came along, that's when it gained a lot of new fans, and a lot of kids really liked that season for some reason in particular. They even mentioned it on the show that that was like a lot of super fans like first season that they watched when they were like 8, or like it's a season that they always remember. So the first thing I want to say is like, with Sandra, the first thing I want to say is like, she's probably the first winner that was like in your face. Like, Richard was kind of like that too, but Sandra was just like in your face, and she wasn't under the radar, and she didn't sneak in there. I don't know what my dog is doing. Anyway, and she's probably here. Hold on. All right, sorry about that. I notice my dogs are always bugging me whenever I'm like doing something fun or like doing something I really want to do. They always bug me like when I'm like playing PS3 or when I'm like sleeping. I don't know if it's because they're like jealous. All right, she was just at the other door or something, but anyway. So Sandra's very popular of a winner too, just because people like her, and wasn't under the radar like most kind of like older females, and she didn't kind of like just sneak into the finals or anything. She's kind of in your face, and she's there like every episode, and she got a lot of good airtime, and it doesn't feel like they're just showing her each episode just because she happened to win like at the end, and they had to find like uh clips of her doing stuff, because you kind of notice that with a lot of female winners who are kind of like under the radar or low to the ground, is like in the earlier episodes you kind of notice why are they showing like Natalie, like why are they showing this and she's not even talking about anything, and you kind of get a feeling that she's probably going to win just because like it seems so unimportant and they're showing it, you know. um But I think with Sandra, a lot of people were surprised that she won, actually, because earlier on in Survivor, like everyone's always like, just be under the radar and just don't piss anyone off and just be cool, and then you'll probably make it far. But Sandra broke like all the rules, and she was a mom, which is a huge thing in Survivor. Is like it's very family. So she was a mom, and she's loud, she's in your face. She can be negative, but she's not really seen as like a bitch. Or she can be a bitch, but she's not really seen as negative. Some people say she's a little bit ghetto, but those are the kind of people I like, those are like my kind of peeps. And she's a minority. I think that's a huge deal on Survivor, and yeah. So the first two seasons she was in are pretty good if you're like a Sandra fan, or if you try to stay neutral but you just like or want to be entertained. She's a pretty entertaining character, and she's not so like lackadaisical, like, oh, I didn't know why I'm here, or like she doesn't act dumb, like, oh, like, I don't know about strategy or the vote. Like, she's playing to win, like what Nyanga said, like, she's a wolf, or what New York said, like, she's a wolf, and you see her coming, like, and no one really cared or never took her seriously, or like she just has that magic touch where you kind of sort of just dismiss her just because you think she's kind of, I don't know, I don't know, like, I want to say so many things, but she just has that magic where you kind of dismiss her a little bit just because like she's a little bit like outlandish or something. And I don't know, like with a lot of the winners on Survivor, or even most of the contestants, you can kind of find the season a little bit dry or a lot boring, because like I was just thinking a lot of the contestants who talk about their family and how much they love them and stuff, they like say it in the most boring way that you kind of don't believe them, or maybe they're just using it to like put up a front that they're very trustworthy and stuff. But with a lot of minorities, like when we talk about stuff we love, we're very like excited and emotional and like stuff like that. But with other people, like I mean, I don't really get it when, like, for instance, Tina or like Colby talk about family. Like, I don't really buy it. I mean, sure, I believe them because, like, why wouldn't you? But at the same time, I'm just like, why are you saying all this stuff? Like, with no, like, it's just unbelievable. But anyway, so that's what I want to say about Sandra. And then I was gonna touch on China. Like, I even did a speech on Survivor, and China was like my main focus. Just because, like, I don't know if it's true because I haven't Googled it, but I'm pretty sure, like, Survivor was the first American TV program to be invited or filmed managed to film in China. And then, like, people were excited about it and stuff. And then, like, a lot of kids really like China, like the culture and the show. And for some reason, a lot of the twists just worked that season, and there's a lot of characters that come back on the show that come from that season in China. So people just like that season for some reason. And I kind of get why, just because, like, I feel like Survivor China is a little bit lot different. Like, I don't know why, if it's because it's China, but it does feel a little bit different. Like, when you watch it, like, I had just learned that ASMR stuff comes from, like, China and stuff. But everything just worked, and it was just a good season overall, and it attracted a lot of new fans to the show in general. And it kind of revitalized Survivor a little bit, or like breathed new air into it. So a lot of people were excited about that season while it was on, and people started to become excited about what was coming up or the upcoming seasons after the fact. So it really breathed new life into the show and stuff. And yeah, there's not too much else to say about that, but there is, but like I don't really want to go into it. But so yeah, I was just thinking over the past like 2 days. I was like, all right, so if you wanna, like, John, if you wanna, like, invite new Survivor viewers into, like, your thing that you're doing, like, what are the top things that you want to tell them about? And it was pretty much Sandra and Survivor China is the two main ones that I came up with. Like, it's my personal opinion. Like, that's just what I've garnered from the show from watching it all these years. Is like those are the two main things that people have already heard about or are interested in when they want to dive into the show or the series. Um, and like, I know I still have like 10 minutes what I want to say. I still watch Survivor now, and then it was really funny because my dad actually pulled me aside and he wanted to talk to me about my Survivor obsession. He was just like, "Are you still watching that show that you keep on watching?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then he was just worried about me because, like, sometimes I watch it like episode after episode after episode, like, well into the day. And for some reason that like bugged him or something, and I was like, what's wrong with, like, just having a favorite TV show? Even my doctor doesn't care. But I noticed when it comes to video games, like, they never care about what I'm doing. But for some reason, like, because I'm so, like, into Survivor, they're like worried about me. But anyways, and then what else do I have to say about the show? Like, I mean, it's always been there since I was like 13, and I don't think I've turned into like a weird person because of it or anything like that. And, I don't stalk these people or anything. I just see them as like people on the show. Cause like I notice with like Twitter and everything now, like fans can just like go up to you and like text you and stuff. And I don't personally do that. Like I've added some of them on Facebook. But that was just like being random or something, but we'll see. Um, and I don't really know too many YouTube channels that talk about Survivor. I know some, but they're a little bit like kind of odd. Like they watch everything and they like have spreadsheets of like statistics and stuff and like challenge wins and like votes and stuff. And I'm like, I don't really do that. Like I just kind of watch a show and like I develop like personal opinions and thoughts and like stuff like that. Like I don't really need to go over statistics or anything to like make up my mind. Um, I guess I go based on feeling a lot. Like how do I feel about this person or how do I feel about this episode or this season? I do have favorite seasons. I'm not just a robot like that one robotic lady on the reunion who was like, "Oh, just watch the Survivor seasons in order, starting from the beginning and repeat it." And I was like, "Oh no, honey! Like I'm not gonna do that." Like I just go based on feeling or what's in my heart and what I want to watch. Cause like for example, I want to watch that moment again, or like there's a really funny thing that happened here, or like this person is really funny, and then I just want to watch it. Um, and like I don't really watch or consume too much American media anymore just because like when I was younger I was a little bit of a media whore. Like I loved watching TV and being on the computer and like listening to music and stuff, but the TV was always on like in my room. Um I don't know when it happened, or I know when it happened, but I just kind of realized like there's so many white people on TV in the US and it's just not relatable like everything. But I just chose Survivor as my one favorite show, and that's the only thing I watch now, just because like I got pretty sick from just everything going on in America, and like going back into like my life. I don't want that to happen again. So I'm pretty careful about what I consume, like what I watch and stuff. And like if I'm not really feeling this, I'm not gonna like force myself to do it. Or like even music, I've kind of deleted. Like I've never really liked music. I don't know if it's American music or anything, but like I don't force myself to listen to it anymore. Video games, I've never had a problem with. That's probably gonna stick with me for life. So that's the main thing I do right now. And Survivor, I just like so, and I think it's pretty like kid friendly and family friendly. So like, if I do have a family, like I wouldn't mind introducing it to my offspring. Like because I think it's like a family show. A lot of families watch it together, and it's like a thing. Um, and well, the reason why I don't consume American media isn't just because there's so many white people, but to be honest, that's like the one main thing like I never notice, or once it hits you, you're just like I can't name a single person I look up to, even a random contestant that I look up to that I like relate to, who's Filipino, and like, it just seems like um all the other races who are like um in the US, like they have so many heroes they can look up to just by turning on the TV. And I don't really have that. And then so I just turned it off one day. I turned everything off one day. One day, like the computer, everything, I was just like, I'm not feeling this anymore. Just like being in America, like it's so soft. Like sometimes I wonder if you're a guy who's like past your 20s, like either why aren't you in jail or why aren't you in the service, you know? Because like living day to day in America, like, I mean, it's so soft. Like, yeah, you feel safe and comfortable and everything, but like the stuff they show on TV is so soft. Music is so soft. Like, what I mean by that is just like, you know, like as a guy, I like hard things, you know, like, um, I like pain, like, I exercise a lot now, and then like the kind of stuff I like is like I know like gangbangers and like stuff like that, and you know they don't really show that kind of stuff on TV or anything. And yeah, I just got that feeling when I was in the U.S. and it was pretty much just like I have to get out of this place right now, and it was a little bit of growing up in the same city, San Francisco, for so long, and you've seen everything, experienced everything, and like even people kind of know you, you know, kind of get that stalkery feeling. Plus with like Facebook and everything, it's kind of weird, like when you kind of feel like all your neighbors know you and stuff. Um, and I've seen you growing up and stuff. It's a little bit weird. But yeah, so thanks for hanging in there with me. I know it took a long time for me to muster up like the courage or muster up the energy or like kind of like not be so lazy to like get another video up, but I thought it went pretty well, and I'll try to think of other topics to talk about just because I don't want to lose my English because I don't speak in English every day. And like the other time I did a video, I was so surprised at my own English because I was like, oh my God, like I still sound pretty good, I think. And then, what was it? What was it? I'll try to think of more topics. Oh, like, writing in a journal or just like typing stuff out like on your computer. It does get pretty boring, but actually getting to like speak or like say it out loud and stuff, I know some people is a big deal to them, like actually saying it out loud instead of just keeping it in your head. It really helps me a lot, and I just don't want to become a vegetable here, just like playing games all day or like being a couch potato. So this whole YouTube thing or like just the smartphone is like pretty cool. So I can understand why kids just like or teenagers just turn it on and say random shit. And I'm just like, I think it's pretty funny, like the TikToks and stuff. All right. So thanks and have a good one.